All right, what up, what up, what up? This is the Avid Dreams Podcast. I am JASHAR.
I'm Chanel.
And right before we get into the shits today, how you doing?
I'm straight. It's a busy day, but I'm straight. I'm good.
Busy day. Had a lot of news happen. We usually shoot on Thursdays, but we decided to switch it to Friday. And because we did that, we got a whole plate of new news on the table for us.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to get into something that actually broke into the hip hop news world about a couple days ago, and this was Lupe Fiasco. You know, Mr. Kick Push came out and said that he is a better lyricist than Kendrick Lamar. And you know, Kendrick Lamar for done songs like "Humble," "Be Humble." You know that shit.
Don't Kill My Vibe. He's done. What's the name of this? Why am I forgetting the name of
Poetic
Kendrick Lamar
Justice. He did that
songs?
with Drake.
The Shot song. I don't remember I don't know what's going on and why I'm forgetting a lot of these right now.
Yeah, mad tracks.
Humble, and then the other one with the, you know, like the Black Power song. What was that called?
All right.
Yes, I love that song.
So yeah, we're probably naming way more songs of Kendrick than we are of Lupe Fiasco. Lupe Fiasco has a deeper discography, you know, because he's been on the scene since I think 2000, the year 2000 or something like that.
Yeah.
He's known for being on a song with Kanye West, "Touch the Sky." It was a big song. Helped, you know, he was already on his way doing good things, but that helped push him in the right direction right before he dropped Kick Push, and he dropped the classic album Food and Liquor, and then the classic album The Cool, back-to-back classics. But how you feel about this? Do you think that Lupe is indeed a better lyricist? Because first off, before I get into that, he said that Kendrick makes better songs than he does, but lyrically he is not fucking with him at all.
Literally, okay, so Sharp brought this up like, I want to say a couple of days ago, and the only sentence like he gave me to work with was like, oh yeah, Lupe said that he's a better lyricist than Kendrick, right? Bam, right on the table. My first thing after saying that, like my first like thing to say, I guess, after he put that out there, was that I think that Lupe is a better lyricist, but Kendrick has better subject matter.
Okay.
Or more, let me say more mainstream liked subject matter.
Right.
So like all of his songs are great, but I would have to agree. I think Lupe is a better lyricist. In my opinion, from what I know about Lupe and from the songs I've heard from him, I would have to agree.
And like, you know, we can go, you know, tit for tat in the comments for something like this, because basically at the end of the day, if you have to look up lyrics to understand what they mean, it's too deep for you. And that's what Lupe is. He's way too deep for you. I would suggest checking out the song Mural. I think it's like a 7-minute song of him just rapping straight, metaphors, bars for the entire song. Fire, stupid fire. Check out songs like Lamborghini Angels.
Oh, I remember that song.
That song goes really deep goes into some dark territories, but you know, after you look up the lyrics for Lamborghini Angels, it's just like, wow, he was really thinking on some other levels with that. So
yeah, but those were like mainstream songs, and at the end of the day, how people operate is like if you have hits, like where you rank on the charts and everything like that. The only people who really like take into account like lyricism is like hip hop heads. And I feel like actually like hip hop heads will listen to both of them. Actually, Lupe and Kendrick, they're both lyricists. Definitely. They're rappers, but they're lyricists. You get the difference between.
Definitely.
And
I know like prominent like media personalities who put Lupe in their top 5.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like those people are the ones that really like get quality and get enjoyment out of listening to Lupe instead of a Kendrick. And the mainstream, your regular hip hop listeners are definitely into Kendrick a lot more, just because his songs are a lot more marketable.
Right. So yeah, we want to stop the slander on that. Stop slandering Lupe. this dude will murder your favorite rapper on his best day.
Not to bring up like something that's kind of like off topic, but there's been a lot of this going around, and I'm guilty. I like sent you something. I sent JASHAR like a text, and it was about a discussion I think we had on the first podcast we had for Toni Braxton and her who she should go up against.
Yep.
And I was like, oh yeah, like maybe she can't go up against Mariah Carey. She would go up against like a Brandy or something like that.
Yep.
My goofy ass like looked at Toni Braxton's like her stats today, and I was like I underestimated what she's done.
Oh really?
It's been happening a lot lately, and it's because we're not hearing from those people. Like look like a Lupe. We don't hear from them like on a regular basis like that. So you kind of forget how dope an artist is.
Right.
So like she's like the best-selling R&B artist of our time, one of them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, like I can't believe I discredit her like that, just like the Brandy versus Monica thing.
I'm gonna be honest, I discredited her too.
And like looking at it, I was like, and then I'm like looking at her discography, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that, and I started downloading stuff, and I was just like thinking like, man, like everybody's kind of been doing this lately, where you just discredit artists you don't really think about like that, unless it's like a Michael Jackson or your Princes or your Paul McCartneys and stuff like that. Like I've been, so I get why people will be like, what, Lupe? Because he's just not in the limelight like that. You probably haven't heard a lot of his stuff.
On top of that, you sent me something where she literally said if she was to do a versus, it would be against Mariah Carey or Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
So I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and some people were like, oh yeah, maybe it should be against Mary, but I was like, I mean, Mary J. Blige, I don't want to underspeak on her either, because I feel like I need to be like way more careful speaking on
she got deep
verses.
tracks.
Let me say that.
Deep tracks.
I'm not taking back the Justin Timberlake Usher thing. I'm sorry, but because that one was written in stone. I did my research on that one.
Hit us in the comments.
But definitely Mary J. Blige obviously has made a big footprint. I don't mean to change the topic like this, but
Get into it.
I feel like I just feel like we've been underestimating a lot of stuff. I think Mary J. Blige is dope. Like I grew up listening to her. My mom would like bump Mary J. Blige. She would more so play Toni Braxton in like a Cher or something like that. I got mad respect for Cher too. But I underestimated it. That was my bad. I'm sorry, Toni. And I listen to her heavy still. Like I got I would say like 2 albums in my Apple Music. I mean, probably more than I have to today after I looked at her statistics and stuff. But that was my bad. I'm super like, I feel bad now. So,
straight up, I feel bad too because I had a little bit of slander going on. So my bad, Toni.
Yeah.
You are the GOAT.
She is the GOAT. She's engaged to Birdman. I don't see the attraction. Anyways, I don't want to get too far in the rabbit hole. This can go on for days. I mean, this is how we talk. I don't see the appeal, but I'm not dating the man, so it's not up to me to say.
In other news, new Marvel Studios, we have been waiting this entire year because of COVID. Everything's been pushed back, so we haven't gotten anything Marvel this year. And we just found out we're not getting any more Marvel movies this year. Actually, we're not getting no Marvel movies this year.
It's understandable.
So they pushed everything back. Black Widow's coming out next year. The Eternals was already coming out next year. It was supposed to come out in February. It's now coming out in November. And then Shang-Chi has been pushed from May to, I want to say July or something like that. That's been pushed back too. However, we are getting one piece of new content this year. I'm super excited for it. They dropped the trailer for WandaVision.
That reminds me of WonkaVision, but that's just because that's like my favorite movie.
WandaVision. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. You know, Scarlet Witch her real name is Wanda Maximoff. And then, you know, she's with Vision. WandaVision makes perfect sense. But the trailer was fucking dope. How do you feel about it?
First I was like, honestly, you already know how I felt about Wanda. Like during the movies, I keep playing with my hair, but sorry.
She be roasted.
I roast Wanda like crazy, just because like she has so much potential for her power and she doesn't take advantage of it. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna just leave it there.
Well, see, I feel like it's been like a very slow build up because like every movie she's more powerful.
Agreed, but when it matters with Ultron, And when it matters, with that's another thing. Like the whole Thanos thing, like her, like she could have been more abused. Remember, like Suri, or no, it wasn't Suri. Who was that? Who was like, why didn't we leave her up there? Yeah, she was like, why was she up there the whole time? And then she like showed up and showed out then. But anyways, my whole thing was
the one who almost beat Thanos by herself.
Right, exactly. Also, Captain Marvel.
Yep, Captain Marvel almost beat Will.
But kind of where I'm going with this is that I wasn't really excited to hear about it. I was just like, okay, that's cool, whatever. But when I saw the trailer, that shit hit.
Some different shit.
I was very intrigued. I don't know. I'm lost. Like I'm lost about, I guess, what they're gonna do for the episodes and stuff. But like for what it was supposed to do, which trailers are supposed to like attract attention and attract your interest, like it did it for me. I was like, wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's like they put it together like it's like this old 1950s Pleasantville type TV show, and you start warping into different like decades. Like you see like a clip of the 80s, a clip of the 90s. And it's like, oh, what's really going on here?
And you got to see Paul Bettany look like himself. He didn't have to wear makeup for something.
Yeah, they have to wear makeup, but then you actually see Vision in the trailer, which I was not expecting to get to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm super hyped for this. Can't wait for that to drop. Apparently, it's supposed to drop in December. So
you said the budget too. You forgot to bring up the budget because that was a big thing you brought up to me was the budget.
Yeah. So there was a lot of people who was actually surprised that they're actually using the actual actors from the movies. But because it's debuting on Disney Plus, Disney has been upping the budget for its original series. Like The Mandalorian has like a movie budget behind it. And these Marvel series shows are gonna have movie budget behind it. Like I think it's supposed to be upwards of like $100 million for a 8-episode series or something like that for WandaVision. So yeah, it's gonna be like watching an 8-hour movie. So you get like an hour probably every week or something like that.
I'm looking forward to it. Cause we haven't been getting any Marvel movies. I completely understand why they wouldn't put anything out right now. Because they're not gonna are movie theaters even open right now?
There are movie theaters open.
All of them?
Not all of them.
State controlled?
Yeah, I think it's probably like state controlled or something like that. But so movies aren't doing so well, numbers wise.
For how much money they could be making with people going to theaters, like I would hold back too. Like Marvel make them some cake, moolah. Like I know I go and see one of the movies a couple of times.
Yeah.
They get cake out of me too.
And I think they just put out Mulan on Disney Plus.
People are complaining.
And then they did like it's gonna cost $30 to watch it or something like that. I think they put that out as a tester for Marvel movies. And they found out that I think he did like $5 million its first weekend. And it's like, we can't do this with a Marvel movie.
They tried. I think a Marvel movie would reap, like it's not comparable to a Mulan.
It's not.
I think it would do a lot better. But when everything's like big, like good and good to go again, I feel like they maximize more on the theaters open because it's about the experience.
Right.
Because I want to see it in theaters. I don't want to see it at home. I want the magical.
Yo, we might want to see it here.
Honestly, I was just gonna talk about that. Like once our stuff, once our furniture and stuff is here, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all gotta see the setup. Like once we get because we got the whole reclining sofa, the light behind the TV.
Clock behind us, you can't see it on camera, but you know.
We got like a lot of stuff coming, and it's about to be so lit, like in here. So I feel like
it's gonna be a super movie experience.
But with that being said, we could just rewatch Endgame and Infinity War.
We sure can.
And all of the other Marvel movies, because I'm doing it like probably the night of, if not the day after, or I'm sorry, the night after we get the furniture in here. Yeah. I have to do it.
I actually watched both of them the first day we moved in.
I think I've seen maybe Endgame or Infinity War. I might watch it tonight actually. But
I saw both of them.
What was I about to say? I gotta look up getting a soundbar.
Yeah,
random. I gotta get a soundbar for the TV. I see.
Off topic again. My bad. Let's get back into it. We've been talking about, updates about the whole Tory Lanez and African American sweetheart Megan Thee Stallion, and we kept saying like, when is Tory? If Tory is actually gonna say anything, which is weird that he hasn't said anything up until now. He dropped an album today actually, and it's basically like a response. He's basically telling his side of the story.
Did he even go live? Did he go live? Like he's like,
I'll
be ready. Oh, he just dropped the.
He just dropped that instead. Because like if he had went live, they just would have just been slandering him the whole time. So I think he just wanted to tell his story uninterrupted.
Honestly, like people have been like trashing him too.
Yeah,
they're like always trying to make a buck out of this tragedy. But
honestly, that's what Drake does.
I agree. And also on top of that, like I feel like isn't music supposed to be like your expression? Mm-hmm. That's music. Like musical expression is supposed to be outlet for artists. Mm-hmm. That's why when tragedy happens to other people, like breakups and stuff, people are like, "Oh, the next album gonna be fire."
Right.
But now, like with this, it's like completely different. Like he's being like completely scorned about it.
They were saying people were going like crazy, saying like, "Don't stream his album," blah blah blah. But it's like this entire time, we've been waiting for him to say something, and he said something, and nobody wants to listen.
They wanted to hear Chris Brown's side for Rihanna. Everybody always wants to hear both sides of the story.
We had to wait years for that.
Yeah.
He put out a documentary years later, and then we finally got to see that.
Yeah, but like everybody, there's two sides to every story, right? And I'm gonna take the woman's side just because I'm gonna take the woman's side. Because I mean, but I still want to hear both sides. Like I still have sympathy towards that situation. With that being said, I listened to it. I had to.
How did you feel about his take on what happened? Because neither one of them got into details.
Here's the thing.
Megan hasn't told us exactly what happened. Tory hasn't told us exactly what happened.
Here's the thing about the whole situation. Like, it's tough to speak on a matter like that and not have a whole debate behind it, or not have people like negatively react to what you want to say, or be offended by what you say. And I'm gonna take that because I'm gonna take my opinion and I'm gonna put it out there because why not?
That being said, that album is fire.
It is fire. And before I listened to it, everybody was always fire. And I kept sending JASHAR stuff like I was anxious because I was like, it shouldn't be liking this. And that was before I like listened to the most of it.
Niggas was going hard like, you gonna say it's fire, you toxic? Like, no, like it's a fire album.
You wanna hear, yeah, so.
Call it what it is. It's a fire album.
My opinion on the matter is that I don't feel like if somebody wanted to shoot someone else, they would shoot them in the heel of their foot or in their foot.
Right.
Now, that's not to discredit what Megan said at all.
Right.
But where she got hit kind of was like weird to me, I guess. Did you see where she got hit? I have the picture on my phone, but
what was it, like in her heels?
It was like in her heel, right? And hearing his side of it, I guess like they had this whole thing where they they was kicking it for a minute and nobody knew about it, I guess. It was on the low. Like he told basically everything. Like them meeting up in Miami, meeting up in like Houston or whatever like that.
Secret relationship.
Had a secret relationship.
Which is something that I said a couple episodes back. I was like, yo, I feel like they was probably together.
You know the funny thing is like the funny part is that he made sure to clear up his height.
Yeah. He said that on the first
He was like 5'3".
Y'all niggas been saying I'm 5'3", I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
Still
Which is a big difference.
But it's a big difference.
He would see me like eye to eye, even though I'm like 5'6", but still, that's still the same thing to me.
Right.
But he's nowhere near like as short as I thought he was. Because I was going to say, how did that even work?
Yeah.
Megan. But yeah, I feel like there was two sides of it just because where she got shot. And then a big thing he also was saying too was like if you thought you were in trouble and you thought you were not safe, you would have said something to the officers. I think that could have went both ways though. Mm-hmm. Because there's been a lot of police brutality, and it could possibly also, like, she was like, oh, I might have done something I wasn't.
True.
But he still shouldn't have shot her, though. I'll give you that. I mean, he still shouldn't. Some people were saying that they think it ricocheted off the ground and hit her, but he was trying to, like, shoot towards it. And people was like, oh, he still shouldn't be shooting towards her, when I completely agree. It just sounds weird to me. The whole circumstance is weird to me.
Well,
like, you have to be there.
He said in the first track, my bad, not episode. He said in the first track that he was framed and that he didn't do it.
Cause he said if she go out, cause he was like some people was telling Megan to go out there and like snitch, and he was like if they did snitch, I would still be or she talked to anybody, he's still sitting in his hotel room because he's innocent basically.
Right.
I don't know if you heard that part, but I feel like there definitely is two sides. I feel like she's completely justified in being upset because I would be upset too if I got shot. But I feel like there are circumstances around it that they just have to figure out by themselves. I feel like you'd have to be there to understand it. Because it's just, like I said, the position where she got shot, with them hanging out and randomly, like, I don't know why he would pull out his gun. I don't know. The whole situation is just...
Yeah, he was backing up a lot of stuff. He took the shots at a lot of people.
Yeah, he called out Bundy, Chance the Rapper.
He shot J.R. Smith.
That was funny. J.R. Smith one was funny.
Yeah. Dream Doll.
J.R. Smith one was mad funny.
And Dream Doll thing was pretty funny. I think her name is Asian Adal or something like that.
Yeah, Asian Doll or something like that.
Something like that. He called out a lot of people in this album. Called out JoJo.
Kehlani.
I was like, he called out JoJo in 2 tracks.
Yeah, he called her like a goofy or a clown or something. Because I guess it was like the song he was featured on was the one that she got the most plays.
It's got the most views on it. The song that he's featured on, he was like, "You just gonna take me off of that?" And then he said that he said he gave them 40 million views between the two of them for both songs.
I feel kind of bad though.
And he said he's in top 5 for both of their songs right now.
I feel bad kind of because he had like this one prelude to a song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which song it was, but he said basically, like one day y'all was like, oh yeah, Tory, quarantine. The next day was basically like F you.
Mm-hmm.
And like talking about cancel culture, which I think we've covered in the show before.
True.
That made me feel bad. Also,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say something.
What?
Because we all still listen to Chris Brown.
True.
Who else, like, who's done some...
Eventually, like, a lot of people forgave him, but there's still, like, a lot of slander still
There's
going
still a lot
on
of slander,
towards
but
his
my
name.
man's is still... His head is above water.
Yeah.
And people are still doing music with him.
Yes.
They were like, oh, yeah, it's different because Chris Brown didn't shoot somebody. I was like, what's the difference? Like,
He didn't shoot her, but he
you're still being violent towards someone.
hit her a couple of times.
And gave her a black eye and bit her fingers and shit like that. Like...
Which, by the way, like... I know I was saying, like, since I've heard his side of the story, a lot of people ain't gonna like this. But I'm gonna keep listening to Tory Lanez.
I'm going to, too. I'm sorry. I
heard his side of the story. I heard her side of the story. He said that, she was the one who was drunk and she was the one who was acting out of pocket that night. But then, out of that kind of contradicts the text that came out. But since Megan Thee Stallion never actually said that she got that text, he said that he was drunk on Henny and I'm sorry for shooting you, blah, blah, blah.
And he said he wasn't convicted.
Yeah, he also says he wasn't.
Not that we trust the judicial system 110%.
At all.
But he's black. So
Right.
if anything he was going to get was convicted if he was even close to being guilty.
Definitely should have kept him in jail, if he had actually done it they're saying he did.
Yeah. What I'm going to say is that I lost it. That's what I was going to say.
I feel like, I don't know. There's like too much left in the story.
Yeah.
He's saying that he didn't do it, this is absolutely not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting him to go on IG Live and be like, listen, I'm sorry I haven't said anything. I'm sorry, Megan Thee Stallion, that I shot you. I'm sorry. But he was like, no, I didn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And
I know.
I've seen like a lot of Tory Lanez interviews, and he's usually pretty brutally honest in a lot of his interviews. So it seems weird that he doubled down for 17 tracks
And he's a Leo.
saying that he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know. I mean, I don't think he... I think he said, he's saying he didn't shoot her at all? Or he's justifying, he's trying to say I didn't, fully mean to.
I think he made it sound like he didn't shoot her.
Okay, I felt like it was a mixture of the two.
Based off the first track that I heard, because he said he was framed. He used the word framed. Like her team put together a narrative that was incorrect. You know what I'm saying?
And then he's still trying to like reconcile with her.
Yeah,
he's like, you can come back. That song kind of a little tear-jerking for me a little bit.
Yeah, like he was going through a lot of emotions on this album.
It made me feel
but it's
bad.
like actually hearing his side of the story and stuff, and like I said, a lot of people ain't gonna like this, but it's like
I'm okay. Let me say
they
this.
both.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
I'm not on either person's side.
That's how I'm feeling.
But I'm still listening to Tory.
I'm not on anybody's side, so I'm gonna keep listening to both of them.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
End of story.
Pew, pew, pew.
That album was fire. Okay.
Pew, pew, pew.
I can listen to the other songs I've been wanting to play because now I have an explanation because you talked about the songs that I like to play.
Joints is crazy, and you know what? I'm gonna download some songs off this album.
Yeah.
Hit me in the comments. I don't give a fuck, nigga.
It was a dope album.
It was a dope album. I listened to it all the way through. And you don't...
The first track, though, like, I wasn't expecting the first track
came out popping
to, like, be that hot, but it was hot. It was fire.
It had the content that we all been waiting for, and I think it's one of the better albums of this year. And on top of that, it's like one of those things where you, like, I listened from top to bottom, and I didn't feel like, this is garbage, quick. This is garbage.
Here's another thing, and I feel like this can be...
There's nothing garbage in there.
This is going to be taken kind of sensitively.
Go ahead.
I feel like by the audience. I want people to remember that these individuals are humans.
Right.
And I feel like people do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see a lot of the stuff that I see regular people do, if celebrities did it,
Ooh.
a lot of stuff. I'm not talking about what I see in the news and da-da-da-da. I'm talking about people that, not that I actively know that I'm associates and friends with per se, even though that could, some of the stuff they could, do could be under that umbrella too. But regular people that I'm aware of or that I know of and that, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. If they were doing that, so I just want people to understand, like, people are humans. There's usually two sides to a story.
It's cancel culture, gotta chill.
Cancel culture has to chill. Like, and this is another thing. This is people's lifestyles. This is people's lifestyles and quality of life. Like, regular people, when they do stuff like this, if it's not jail worthy, they still can go back to their job and continue to make their living.
He said he lost $10 million since everything popped off.
It's a
which is like a boo-hoo, hey, he's rich, boo-hoo. But like, if I lost $10 fucking million, I would be very upset.
Did he say for like a day or a month he had like 30K views? Or 30K listens or something?
He had 30 million. He said he had 30 million listeners, and then his numbers went down. Crazy.
I thought he said 30K something. Am I just deaf? I don't understand. But he said he had 10 million followers, which literally matches his IG following count to a T, I checked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I just want people to remember, like, these people are humans. That's why I'm just like, now R. Kelly's a different one. I can't give him a back.
Nah, fuck that nigga.
But situational, yes. I feel like people are a little bit too, they go in too hard. For how imperfect everyone else is, no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with cancel culture.
Yep.
I am gonna cancel Trump though. That's a different thing.
Yeah, there's some people who should be canceled, but it's like for like little debacles and squabbles between like different people. I don't know if you should cancel, because it's like at the end of the day, like, you're not canceling niggas for killing niggas.
I hear stories all the time of women throwing dishes, running dudes over with the cars. This is not talked about.
Nobody canceled Gucci Man for killing somebody.
Yeah. It's just, you guys gotta chill. And it look like, never mind. Anyways, basically, everyone's human. There's two sides. I'm not on either person's side. I'm gonna still listen to
Tory
Lanez. End of story.
End of story. Into the next topic. Unfortunately, Kanye's still tweeting crazy.
Twitter fingers.
Going crazy with the Twitter fingers. So there's more content for us to talk about. And there's a couple things that he said that just has been kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Like, he came out and said that he's gonna start wearing Jordans until he's on the board for Adidas. And then he said he's not gonna put anything out through the Gap until he's on the board for the Gap. On top of that, he said he's gonna give his 50%, he's gonna give
50% masters.
His 50% masters back to the artist of good music, which I felt like honestly was bullshit. I mean, it's dope that, you know.
Did he just learn masters existed?
I know. It's just like people have been signed with him for decades.
Yeah. And you basically been robbing them this whole time. And
it's
now
like you hit a Billy and you
like I told JASHAR, like this whole thing just feels like it's for clout. I don't think he would be doing all of the stuff that he's trying to do right now if he didn't have clout behind it.
Right.
The number one thing about helping other individuals is selflessness. It's not supposed to be about yourself. It's not supposed to be about your self-gain.
Yeah.
And
I feel like if he wasn't going after his own masters, he would still be keeping the other 50% that he owns of the Big Sean's and the Sci Hi to Princes and the Commons and all of them.
Yeah, 100%. And
Tiana Taylor is a big one because they sat on her for a ridiculous amount of time.
Right.
And I don't agree with that, but like, you know, they kept her masters and, you know, probably dug into her pockets for quite some time.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally am getting tired about hearing about stuff he wants to do. Like, if you're going to do it, just do it. We'll find out roundabout ways. Magazines always figure out stuff. If you're going to do good for people, just do it.
Right.
And stop talking about it and trying to get everybody on board for it. Like, we're tired of it. Like, there's like this whole God complex. And this is like a lot coming from me because I was a big Kanye fan.
Oh, yeah. I can't see, like, at the end of the day, like, I feel like he's still a genius as an artist, but I'm going to end it at genius for an artist. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, he still has this crazy discography that I love that I haven't been able to listen to as of recent. But I still love his crazy discography. But
he's just been, like I said, I think there's people in his ear right now. And Lupe said this when talking to.
Yeah.
It from what I've been reading from his tweets, it's coming from left field. Like the one thing we just talked about where you were saying how he's gonna give 50% of masters back on good music. Where did that, like, you've known about masters for all these years. Somebody's in his ear. Like, this is coming up. Why all of a sudden for Adidas and Gap you have to be on the board first before you do anything? It doesn't add up. Like, this is stuff you've been doing for a minute. And you gotta have somebody there who's like, oh yeah, I don't know, like I was on the board before I did anything with ABC company, and Kanye like, oh I should have had that, like and now he going on Twitter talking about, I just hate the victim complex he keeps using. Ever since before he got called a billionaire too, there's like this strong power I feel like he wants everyone to feel that he has over them. And then I feel like he also is trying to use the mad genius concept a lot, where he's just like, I don't know. I'm just really tired of what he has to say. I'm tired of him talking and possibly walking behind the scenes. Who effing knows? We don't know what he's doing. I don't want to hear about it. If you're gonna do it. Show us the results. But you being disrespectful and you being overly loudmouth about it, like the people I know to be intelligent usually aren't that loudmouth and usually aren't talking about all of this stuff to gain what looks to be clout.
It's like a lot of this stuff just doesn't make like a lot of sense because it's like we just heard about him signing with the Gap like this year. I'm thinking that plus like his Yeezy reign is what tipped him over into like the billionaire status, because I don't know if he's.
I feel like he's trying to like become like this Warren Beatty. Who's that guy who does Virgin Records, Virgin and all that stuff? He's trying to become like the figure that we all are familiar with, like maximizing your revenue, maximizing your profit, maximizing I feel like he's trying to become this figure to align with the other people when he actually just got lucky putting out a progressive sneaker design. that happened to catch with people. The rest of the shit he put on, I'm sorry, that shit was trash. The flip-flops piss me off every time I see them.
Flip-flops are trash.
The heels he tries to do that looks
the holes in the shirts is trash. Sorry.
The only thing he's had that's been like successful with that, now I'm not gonna say only because I need to do my research before I say that, but from what I see people wearing is usually that sneaker. And it's just, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff and animosity and a lot of possible evil around him right now, and it's affecting his psychological state, and I'm tired of hearing about it. Personally, like it's exhausting. Like the subject matter he's putting out is just,
it's not cool.
It's irritating.
It's not cool.
It's irritating. It's literally like somebody like, hey, care about me too. Like I'm not making all the money I should be. Help me, like and everybody else is making like pennies and dimes, and we're reading about you complaining about how you're not getting what you need to be getting from like the economy or whoever you're working with. Like we don't care. I said this on another podcast too. And right after that podcast, I started seeing memes pop up like, we don't care about you trying to get richer, or you trying to, like, you already reached billionaire status, and you're trying to pull sympathy.
Trying to hold the masters for his children, even though, like, he's already completely good.
Most of the country's in poverty. Grandchildren. Yeah. Most of the country's in poverty. We don't, excuse my French, and I know I've been cussing a couple other times, but I'm going to put extra emphasis on it. We don't give a shit. Kanye, stop.
Stop it.
Like, cut it out. It's what is a good word to describe it? It's not just selfish, but it's just inconsiderate. Inconsiderate is a very mild word. There's a stronger word I want to use than that, but I think that's the one I'm going with now, because I don't want to spend too much time thinking about it. But that's just my take on it. Sorry, Randy. I'm just saying. It's unappreciated.
Very. Another bullshit news. I think the case just happened with Breonna Taylor, and apparently nobody was charged for the murder of Breonna Taylor.
But somebody was charged for hitting her neighbor's wall.
Yeah, somebody was charged for hitting her neighbor's wall.
And shots missed. Shots missed.
Yeah. Which is really stupid. So obviously there's like people protesting, and I'm hearing there's like riots in the streets. I'm just saying, make sure you guys be careful. I still support all the protesters. 100%. And I just want to make sure everybody gets home safely, because they showing their ass that they really don't give a fuck about us out here.
Yeah. And yeah, I just think it's really time for progressive change. Yeah. And this is the first year that I've registered to vote. Because, and that, like I said, like, and my friend even said it, like, that's a huge thing that I did that. We were raised differently. Let's just say that. And in what we were involved in growing up, we weren't allowed to vote. And it's kind of been ingrained in who we are, but there comes a time when everything is literally going to ruin. And if you have an opportunity to create some change, you do it. And we are in dire circumstances right now. Dire.
I just wish that we had like better choices for, like, you know.
You got to choose the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, but it sucks that there has to be two evils to begin with.
That's politics.
It is. Definitely is.
But
yeah, hopefully there's gonna be some change coming. I guess make sure you get out there and vote.
Yep, pretty much. And vote not only at the federal level, but at the state and local levels too, because that's where your police administration and your the stuff that hits closer to home.
Yeah, that's what
institutionalized
directly takes care of, like, police brutality and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's not at the
govern,
federal level.
You know, what the cops can and can't do.
Yeah, so just wanted to throw that out there. And then segueing into...
Yeah, let's get on, like... Go ahead.
Yeah, so just a segue into this. People have been making some broad statements, like big statements lately. Yeah. 2020 has not been disappointing in just I don't know a good word for it. I don't think anybody has a good adjective to describe 2020.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Yes. The latest one, the latest remark that has been made was by Chance the Rapper. I think it was on Shade Room.
Yep.
And apparently he had something to say about Bieber's new album.
Yep.
Comparing it to Michael Jackson's Off the Wall record from the 80s.
Not just any Michael Jackson album.
Off the Wall.
But the Off the Wall album.
Yeah. Why specifically Off the Wall, by the way? I didn't even really get into that when I talked to you.
You know what? It's okay. Like, I'm actually somewhat of a Bieber fan. And it's okay to say that he has a fire album coming on. That's
100%.
completely fine. But don't ever say don't ever say
I never have compared
that it's on the same level
yeah.
of a Michael Jackson classic. Of a Michael Jackson classic. Don't.
If he ever said Thriller, I would literally fly to LA or wherever he lives and slap the dog sugar honey iced tea out.
But it's up there with it.
It is. No, don't get me wrong.
No, I'm saying like what he said is up there with it. Off the Wall is up there with it.
Classic. But I'm saying like,
don't do that.
like, and honestly, like when I read it, like I was just like, first of all, sorry, I'm not really a big Chance the Rapper fan. I used to hate those Dorito commercials they used to go. I hated them so much, and I just never listened to it because it was just off the Dorito commercial alone. I was just like, he's annoying. But yeah, he doesn't.
Tory said something about
I was just gonna say that, like on that album, like he was talking about Chance too, like he irrelevant. And he said he put another line in there instead of trying to diss Chance. I was like, wowie. With that being said, I feel the same way. When I read that, I was just like, it's Chance, moving along. Personally, I don't trust his opinion.
On top of that, Chance has been saying like some wild shit that don't make sense. Like he was 100% behind Kanye West running for president of the United States.
Well, this is the guy that used to wear 3 hats.
He made $6 million in a year.
I'm sure he did. Still trash. The 3 hats were trash. I've always thought they were trash.
Okay.
But still.
All right. Now, I'm not a fan of the 3 hats either, but like, that's a good profit.
It's a good profit, 100%.
That's a good profit.
Still was a trash hat. Sue me.
But yeah, Chance, like, he been saying some wild shit lately. Put out some good music, and then maybe we'll accept it a little bit better.
Maybe
Probably
we'll
not.
we'll have more integrity in your words after that. He's literally, let's just say this. If Chance was somebody who I would be able to, actually let me re-say this. If Chance had a song that I actually got into or like semi-liked.
No problems?
I have no clue what that song that is.
You don't want no problem.
I hate that. I hate that song so freaking much. Like I remember hearing it on the radio. Now that you say I hate that song. So now he talking crazy. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed. I didn't know you did that song.
I shouldn't have said it.
He needs to shut his dirty whore mouth. What he needs to do. That just made me mad. He is wild. That man is wild.
Oh my god.
He has no. Yeah. That topic's done. I'm not. You can.
All right. Well, off of that, we're gonna wrap up the Avid Dreams Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, you hit the comment, you subscribe, and you hit that bell so that you're notified every time we release anything on this channel. So, thank you once again, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good weekend or have a good week. Bye. What?